Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. We've got an amazing guest here today called Seth. Seth, do you want to introduce yourself?
How you
Um,
doing? Seth Fight. Nice to meet everybody.
Amazing. Thank you for coming on. I know you've got some cool takes on soccer tickets, and a very hot growing collection. I know you picked up some really cool stuff. So, yeah, introduce us about your ticket collecting journey. Where did it start, and what excites you?
Well, first off, let me give a shout out to Tickets with Tay. Appreciate everything you're doing for the hobby with this with the show. And then also collectors tools. I mean, PSA should be buying collectors tools for $1 million+. It's so hard to find a ticket on PSA. You'll search for a player and then it's under a team. Then you search for the team and it's under like that event, whether it's a Champions League or whatever it may be. And it's like so hard to find a ticket. You make it so simple. So I appreciate that because you've
You're
saved
more than
me
welcome.
so much time trying to find tickets. So great job with that.
Appreciate it.
How did I start? So I started off really in cards, like I'm sure a lot of people did. When I was a kid, as far as I saw my father like every other weekend, and those weekends that we spent time together would either be playing sports at the park or going to games or going to card shows. He was the first one to introduce me to what a card show was, and my mind was blown first time I ever walked into the card show. But whenever we went to a game, whether it was the Phillies, because I'm from Philadelphia, so whether it was the Phillies or whatever it may be, he always kept the tickets for us, and he would always put it, in a box, and it just became a habit. So it wasn't collecting tickets as an investment purpose; it was just collecting tickets, for memories, obviously from being with my father and just the games we went to. So and then collected cards probably all the way up until I'd say when I was maybe say 16, 17. And then when I left for college, totally stopped collecting, didn't even pay it any mind. And then, and sold the collection during my college years to get some college money, so to speak, and have some regrets because what I sold it for back in 98, I could get like 30, 40 times what I sold it back
Any
then. But
any any stories? Any big losses?
no, no, it's just like because when I was collecting, PSA wasn't even around. So, like, I had some mint cards that I sold that were PSA 10s, and I'm here selling it maybe for $100. That in reality, if PSA was around, it was a PSA 10 that could easily be $1,000+ card. Um, so and still follow sports. I'm a big sports fan, so still was always involved in sports. But then around 2015, got back. The itch caught me again for card collecting. Just really, Mike Trout, the baseball player, is kind of what got me. He was just off to a phenomenal start in baseball. I mean, just as such a young kid, and so got back into card collecting and still I bought some soccer cards as well. And sorry to the purists for calling it soccer. As far as I know, it's football, but we can't forget that England created the word soccer. Back
Exactly.
in the late 1800s. But so I got to call it soccer just because I'm also an American football fan. But got back into the collecting soccer, all different cards, and then with no plan, as investment per se. And then around, let's say 2018, then I started saying, you know what, let me start buying some important pieces. And this was before the COVID boom. And so I got a lot of good cards at a decent price way before the pandemic hit. And then when the COVID boom hit, something that maybe I bought for $100 is now selling for like 10,000. Something I bought for maybe 500 is now selling for 15,000. I mean, it was just absolutely mind blowing. So
And did you sell?
what's that?
The big question was, did you sell any at that
Oh
time?
no, see, yeah. So I sold as far as I sold at the peak. I was just because I look. When I bought some pieces for investment, I was thinking long term. 20 years from now, as far as I'm just going to hold these. I appreciate it. It's just my passion is just sports and that and the collecting. But once COVID, I taught after investing in pieces, and then a year later, these astronomical prices in 2019, 2020. I said, this is crazy. Like I said, spending $100 on a card and it's now going for $5,000 is just. So I sold everything, and And then I left the hobby because I had no regrets leaving, selling everything and then leaving the hobby because it was developing a bad taste in my mouth. Just where how you could alter the cards and just there's a lot of shadiness with the cards, forgeries, all different types of stuff. But while the COVID boom was happening and I'm locked up in the house like a lot of people, obviously, I rediscovered tickets. So I just started going and researching some tickets of games that I went to that I didn't have tickets to anymore. And then I'm seeing the ticket prices. I'm like, wow. And then during the boom, I got turned on to Darren Ravel's site as well. And I started to see his take because my original take on tickets was I don't want the ticket if I was not there. Why
Uh-huh.
would you want a ticket if you were not at the game? But seeing his vision on it totally flip-flopped it. And then Maradona is my favorite player. I mean, Messi's the greatest of all time. There's no debate with that. But Maradona, I was 10 years old at the '86 World Cup, and so he's my favorite player of all time. But then I started thinking because my first purchase, true ticket purchase was the Hand of God ticket because I bought it and I'm just thinking, wow, this ticket. I held it in my hand. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This ticket was in the stadium with thousands and thousands of people when, the Hand of God and the goal of the century went down. And then from there on, it was no looking back. And I just totally love the ticket hobby way more, 1,000 times more than card
Hmm.
collecting. I have no interest in ever going back to collecting cards and just, I love everything that the ticket hobby presents.
Man, I'm in the same boat as you, and it's an interesting story, but also one that you hear quite a lot. The story of collecting when they were young, sold at college, many years down the line went and bought again and managed to make some money, and then a lot of people are now kind of showing interest in tickets because it opens up a lot of points that cards fail on, I guess. I think the
Yes.
fact that tickets are museum pieces, um, and there's something authentic and cool and like really connects you to the moment that excites a lot of people. So with your collection, I know you mentioned Maradona there. What else do you collect? What is, hot topic for you?
So as far as the sport of soccer, just in all, as far because soccer is my main focus. Besides soccer tickets, Bo Jackson, who's my favorite like athlete of all time. As far as for those that know Bo Jackson, played professional football and professional baseball at the same time. To me, there will never be an athlete like Bo Jackson again. So besides soccer, I do collect Bo Jackson as far as for the American side, but soccer, I just try and go after my favorite players as far as Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, R9. No disrespect to all the other Ronaldo fans out there as far as Portugal Ronaldo, but R9 just was amazing. Again, that was during my time as far as the World Cup, as far as 94, 98. Uh, and then just yeah, and Messi, of course, and Maradona. I mean, that's pretty much my main
Mhm.
focus per se.
Seth, I feel like you're the perfect figure for the bringing the UK and the Europe community and the American community together because I feel like you're pretty in touch with both hobbies, whereas most of us in Europe don't know anything about American sports, and most of American sports don't know much about soccer.
Right.
Tell us why you love soccer so much and why you believe in it so much. Because I know you've made some comments on in Discord, which really made me think, okay, he's thinking on the right path, or got some
Well,
interesting takes.
I mean, it's called a beautiful game for a reason. It's such a beautiful game, and for people that in America, what I try because people are like, "Yo, it's so boring to watch a soccer game." I'm like, "No, you're not understanding." And this same person that thinks soccer is boring loves basketball, right? And basketball is very fast paced. I get that aspect. But basketball is a lot of half court, motion offense, different offense that's just moving around. Everyone's just moving, trying to obviously score a basket, working together. And I'm like, that's exactly what soccer is, just at a slower pace. It's basketball on a half court level, just on a big field. Everyone's working just to try and obviously move the ball up forward and score the goal. But soccer, I mean, there's no game like it. Like, a lot of other sports are high scoring or you have excitement, then there's a break in the action. Where soccer, as far as is just nonstop, obviously for that 45 minutes, and anything could happen at any given moment. It's just such a beautiful game.
I agree. Someone who works in the industry, in the football industry, anything can happen. We do videography, my company, and It really is a matter of like, if you switch off for 1 second, you're going to miss that one moment, and that's
Yeah,
the golden moment. And I think that's part of the beauty is you have to be locked in at all times. You can't afford to switch off. And I know it's not super fast paced, and some games can end in 1-0 or 2-0, and there's only a few moments, but you have to be locked in. And I think that's
yeah.
part of
I
the
mean, I
excitement.
got a story on that if I could share. It's funny.
Absolutely, please do.
So 2022 World Cup, which obviously we all agree was the best game, well, best World Cup ever. So I'm watching it. I'm by myself as far as because my wife and daughter had a tennis lesson, and so my wife, was in charge of that. Thankfully, just so I could watch the World Cup. And 70 minutes obviously going by, and we all know how that went. It was a little boring, so to speak. And then I get a call that I had to come to the tennis academy for a reason. I'm like, oh man. So I'll get in the car and I'm driving. I'm trying to watch it on my phone, and my phone, like the Wi-Fi is not connecting. Get to the tennis academy as far as do what I have to do. And then I'm trying to come back. And so I have no idea everything that transpired. So I walk in the door, and now it's 2-2. I'm like, what happened? As far as I left it 2-0. So I missed all that. Luckily, I recorded the game, but I got to see obviously everything that happened after 2-2. But I missed that moment. It's just anything could happen at any time.
Yeah, that
So
was one of the best finals of all time.
yeah,
I think some people kind of got bored of talking about it, but I don't think that moment in the next 50 years will ever be forgotten about. Like,
no, no,
ever.
greatest
It's,
World Cup ever.
I mean, I've not been alive to witness probably as many as you, but I still appreciate it so much as, at least for me, as the best World Cup ever.
Yeah, no, I don't see how you could top that. Just not only the gameplay, but obviously the meaning
Hmm.
with Messi and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. We talk about bridging the gap between UK and US collectors and the growth of soccer. With the Club World Cup going on this summer in America, we've also got the World Cup the year after,
Mhm.
and obviously the growth of American football or soccer, however you want to call it. What is the overall sentiment of soccer like at the moment? Because I know you mentioned about kids running around with Messi or Bellingham or Vinicius Junior jerseys. What's the overall sentiment like over there?
I think there's a big shift. I mean, I remember back in '94 when the World Cup was here, everyone was talking about there's going to be a huge shift, and it didn't take place. Of course, more kids started playing the game. So that was an increase, but there wasn't necessarily an increase, I think, in fans, interested in Premier League or anything like that, or people, starting to wear jerseys of professionals, where now because again, I teach physical education, kindergarten to eighth grade, and the kids keep me young as far as lingo wise. I get to keep in touch with the fresh words. I get to keep in touch with the fresh style, but also just what they talk about and what their passion is. And because I believe you have the Ronaldo celebration, his first celebration
Hmm.
ticket, right? I mean,
Yep.
what a ticket that is. So, because to come full circle with that, it's amazing how second grade, third grade kids will accomplish something in class that has nothing to do with soccer. We'll roll a ball and hit a bowling pin or something. Just have an accomplishment, and all of a sudden they're going and doing the jumping up. So for second, third, fourth grade kids to be in such love with Ronaldo and everything like that. And all these kids nowadays in the United States, I'll see wherever I go, kids wearing the jerseys. I
Hmm.
think there's a huge uptick compared to when the World Cup was here in 1994. And I think, like you said, the Club Cup and the World Cup is going to do tremendous wonders for the sport in America.
Yeah,
And of course, Messi, in the MLS, obviously, is a huge boost as well.
because I don't think enough people are talking about the Club World Cup. It's an enormous event. This year will be the inauguration really of its new form. So previously I think there was 3 or 4 games, but now there's 32 clubs, I think 68 games hosted in America. Lots of games over in Philadelphia, but also in Miami, New York, um, LA, and stuff like that. And the best clubs in the world are playing. We've got Real Madrid, Man City, Chelsea, and then clubs from Egypt, clubs from Morocco, clubs from Tunisia. It's a global event. It's the
Yeah.
World Cup for clubs. It is what it says, and it's a
And it's
family's
great.
hosting, and it's
And it's
hosted
great
in America. It's going to be incredible.
And it's great that they included Messi into it. I mean, whether you believe that team should be in or not, it doesn't matter as far as from a marketing standpoint. It's
Mhm.
the brilliant move. And tickets, unfortunately, I mean, are not the cheapest. That's the downfall. I was looking at tickets like a week ago because they became available, I think, like maybe 3 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and it's pricey. And that's the only downfall as far as when you're trying to obviously have a sport grow. I just was hoping that the ticket prices were lower than what they are.
Or maybe a physical ticket being included might help,
Yeah,
might justify some of that cost.
right,
I
right.
mean, I've heard a lot of you in the Discord, but not so much on like your collection as a whole. So do you want to run through? I don't know if you have some tickets on you now, but
Yeah, no, it's for
your
because
brand.
yeah, well, I mean, before showing the tickets, first off, shout out to people such as yourself or Sergio or Jack, who's known as, I think, New York in the Discord, sorry, New Jersey in the Discord, Shell Barnes, as far as Stuart, the people that actually do the hard, and Fav, of course, the people that go and find the tickets, because I'm doing the easy part, so to speak, just buying it, as far as, so there's no glamour in that, as far as, because I'm not on social media. I just got Instagram like 2 weeks ago because of that Stub Love show. As far as,
Uh-huh.
so that's the only reason I got Instagram, was to start watching his show. So I don't have the means to really find the tickets, and obviously most of the tickets are not in America; they're in the UK or other parts. So much credit to you members that find the tickets, as far as, because without you guys finding tickets, obviously the hobby would be nowhere. And then Lucas is a huge part of my collection, and he flaunted that earlier today with the Donald Duck money meme. But and I because I met Lucas probably maybe 2020, I think. I bought a ticket off him. Originally it was on eBay, but I'm always trying to work, off eBay, because the fees in America are crazy. Where some
Mhm.
states you have to pay a sales tax, where other states you don't. I'm in a state you do have to pay sales tax. So bought a ticket off of Lucas. It was a small ticket, and we built a relationship. And just in talking and understanding, his ticket collection, I'm like, this guy is amazing. As far as, he's got to be like 65 years old. Come to find out, just the way, because he's very, he's well beyond his years, so to speak, just in how he talks and how he carries himself. And so it's just interesting when I first found out, that he's way younger than I am. But he's provided me with many tickets, which I'm very thankful for. But like was talked about earlier today, the Maradona.
He's
I know a
breaking.
lot of people didn't show this or see it, so to speak, but I'm sorry if it's not going correctly. I don't know how to do it. Go one at a time.
Yeah, yeah, I can see.
Okay. And this one, that's from Jack in New Jersey, which I appreciate. So if we could go down the Maradona Messi rabbit hole, is that okay?
Yeah, please
Yep.
do. It's my
All right.
favorite rabbit hole to go down.
So we got the debuts.
That's an
Uh,
interesting one as well because it was both against Hungary, right?
Yes, both against Hungary, and the blue. I mean, to me, this is special. There's only a pop of seven, and the blue, there's only four blues, and it's similar to the Michael Jordan ticket in America, where there's different variations, but the prime one is the red version. That's
Mhm.
what is the most sought out after, and I think the blue is the same in that case as well.
Has to be.
Uh,
Has to be.
and then let's see if I can hold it correctly. The first goal
Damn.
for Messi and Maradona.
Yeah.
I like this one just because of the Argentina colors, the yellow and the blue.
Mhm.
And that first goal is from Jack in New Jersey as well.
So that's
Uh,
Messi's first international goal, and then there's also Maradona's first international goal.
yes,
Nice.
yes. Then we have the two goal of centuries. The Maradona goal of century, and then the Messi Getafe goal, the greatest goal in
This is the
Barcelona.
Getafe goal.
Yeah, that's the PSA 2.
Congratulations. That's an incredible ticket.
I think it's one of the most undervalued ticket in my opinion, because like and I posted up before on Discord, just with Jordan. Like Michael Jordan could sneeze during the game, and all of a sudden that ticket's worth like $1,000. And so Jordan has all these moments, and wonderful moments they are. But he has so many tickets that are not only $1,000 but $5,000 plus.
Mhm.
But out of those $5,000 plus tickets, there's 10, 15, 20, sometimes even more. But to me, as far as Messi's greatest goal, I could watch that goal 5 times a day for the rest of my life. I mean, it's just an amazing goal, and
It's
just
no doubt his best goal as well, and it's contested, and of course it's a subjective matter, but it really, like for me, it's by far the best goal he's ever had.
yeah, and just the similarities between him and Maradona. I mean, it's just amazing. As far, I would love to add the hand of God, Messi, to it, but I'll probably never be able to get that. But I mean, just to have the debuts both against Hungary, then to have the goal of the century both, and then it's just amazing the similarities between them.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
got the final. Don't have your final. Would love to have your VIP final or
Yeah,
Ben's VIP final, but I like this is in very poor condition, but I love it just because of the Argentina colors.
yeah.
Uh, so fan of that.
So Ben's got, and you talk about color matching. Ben's got the VIP, which is
Right.
the blue one, and it matches, the Argentina kit. I've got the VVIP, so it's a burgundy color. And people will probably battle between which one they'd rather.
Yeah.
The
So I haven't seen
VVIP
your
just
ticket.
sounds
It,
more rare, and I know for a fact it is more rare, but some people like the blue. So
right. Now his ticket, just the presentation and everything, the box, and I mean,
yeah,
it's just absolutely amazing. You know.
yeah, for sure.
And then I don't know. Would you like me to keep
Please
going?
do, please do.
Then to I guess from the World Cup with Messi and Mbappe, you got the Mbappe debut and then the first goal.
Damn.
So I had that in the PSA 6, but I sold that a couple months back.
Was that the big sale?
Yeah, yeah.
Damn. So
So
it
couldn't
did
turn
go
that
through in the
down,
end.
but also took some of that and was able to repurchase the Mbappe debut. Because I was looking at, because again, I don't know any cards, but there's a wonderful card on eBay right now, and that's the Messi 2004 sticker, the SD sticker.
Hmm.
So his number 71 card, the Mega Cracks, like that's the holy grail. But this, and that's got like a population of like say 700, 800. And his sticker was actually, from what I understand, was the first actual thing released was a sticker. So it came before the Mega Cracks card. But the sticker, it's only like a population of like 200 total, and there's only like maybe I think like 10 PSA 10s. But so I was looking at that on eBay because that it's on eBay. I can't remember the price, but it's a reasonable price, and that card to me is going to be extremely valuable down the road.
Hmm.
And that's the type of card, if you were to pop out, because that card on eBay is perfectly centered. If you were to crack that card out and submit it to PSA and get a PSA 10, you're looking at like a $50,000 card today. But
Hmm.
that card has tremendous potential, in my opinion. So I was debating, should I try it? But when it comes down to it, I was like, no, I'd rather much get the Mbappe ticket back where there's only five. And that's Mbappe's true rookie card.
Hmm.
That's the official, to me, rookie card. And it comes out months before, the actual card does. I mean, so I love debuts, even if, Messi was only in the game on his Argentina debut for 5 seconds, because of that red card. To me, it's the first time he's stepping on the field, officially in the Argentina jersey, and just is the start of obviously a historic career. So love that.
Yeah, it's amazing. You talk about Mbappe then. Is there any other new stars you target? Because who was it? I think it was Sergio on Discord put on a really interesting comment about how few rookie debuts there are for young players, like future, like upcoming stars. I think there was under 21
Yeah.
across like nine of the best upcoming stars. 21 population report.
Yeah, so it's funny because Sergio sent a message this morning, and we were talking, and he just put it perfectly into words, way better than I ever could. And I said, you should post this, and not to shout him out because I don't think he did post it, but it was just such words of wisdom. Because I said to him, I said, obviously we all love the tickets that are pop 1 to 10. But can the ticket hobby be just too rare where it turns people off from, not even beginning the collection because they can't acquire anything? And Sergio had the perfect response where he's like, well, look, as far as if a person wants a Jude Bellingham pass, they could get it. If they want his maybe World Cup debut or whatever there's so many other options where now that very, very hard to get pop one ticket is like that one of one patch auto card. that, like, is huge in America for baseball or basketball, whatever it is. So, and it just opened my eyes. What a great, analogy to make, that yes, as far as, even though these hard to get pop one, pop five tickets are extremely hard, you still have other avenues to collect the players that you want to collect. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, as you've shown with your collection, there's goals, there's moments that stand out, there's matching. I like that you've matched Maradona with Messi. I actually matched Messi with Ronaldo, so I was going Champions League debut,
Uh,
World Cup debut, and I matched those two together. I had their first matchup, so Messi and
and then
Ronaldo's first
you
game.
you have all of Messi's debuts, right?
Other than the PSG debut, that's the one
Amazing.
that I'm waiting to get.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, where did you find the Espanol debut?
Um, okay, it's an interesting story. I don't know if I've mentioned it online before, but
I don't think I've heard the story,
I
so
was
intrigued.
there was a PSA 3 Cristiano Ronaldo debut, the sporting debut, and it was a really clean one. It was very mint. I was like, wow, I need this. And it was live on Golden. And I was up at night at 3 a.m. for us, ready to bid on this auction.
Oh, and that's where you couldn't bid on it, right?
Exactly.
Right, right, right.
And I was like, I need to find this ticket. This is the one. And it didn't even get a single bid at $1,000. So I've asked around, and Sergio messaged me saying, I think this is the guy's Instagram. So I've gone on his Instagram and I've messaged and we've agreed on a price. Um, and I was just about to pay, and I said, "Is there any other tickets you've got?" And he's like, "Well, there's this one here," and I've had a look, and it was the Espanol debut,
Oh
and I
my
was like,
God. I
"I don't
can't
know how, I
imagine.
don't know how much this is, but I need it." And we came to agreement after around 2 weeks, and yeah, we made the deal happen. He sent me both, and the deal was done. But he was responsible for finding three, I think, of the five
Is that
of
right?
the total
Wow.
pop. Yeah, so he's got an incredible collection as well, and I think he's just graded the blue international debut as well
Wow.
for Maradona.
Okay. So I told Lucas that's probably the one ticket he's never got his hands on, was the Espanol debut.
Yeah,
But
I think Lucas is yet to get that, and I think that's a testimony to how truly rare it is because Lucas has had everything.
yeah, but to me, that's such an undervalued ticket. Even the last sale at $15,000. To me, and again, I feel like the soccer market is, years behind everything else, and its time will come. Will it come next year, 2 years from now? Probably not. But will it come 10 years, 15 years from now? I believe so. I hope so. But that ticket to me is a $50,000 ticket, if not more. Easily.
I mean, yeah, I get a lot
It,
of messages with people showing interest, wanting to make an offer and stuff like that. So I think at least, yeah, as you say, from the last sale of 15,000, it has to be more. How much more, I don't know. That sale was off the back of the World Cup, so you might argue that the interest was as high as it's ever been. But since he's come to into Miami, he's made a ripple throughout American football. It's probably worth a lot more, I would say.
Yeah, imagine just again, because he's still doing what he's doing at his age. So I think everything that he's done is obviously appreciated, but it's not going to be truly appreciated till 10 years after he retires. When he
Hmm.
retires and things are settled down and people are able to really take a step back and see what this person did for how long, because Maradona is my favorite, hands down, and he's my greatest player. But Messi it's without debate that he's the greatest of all time, and I don't see anyone that could have anywhere close to a career. I mean, again, he had what, 4 Ballon d'Ors at 25 years old. You know what I mean? Like, you look at all these. Like, I love Mbappe. Should he have won maybe one by now? Sure, but should he have won four? Absolutely not. Like, who else is going to win four before the age of 25 years old? So I think when he retires, that there will be a big uptick in all his memorabilia. But who knows?
For sure. And we talk a lot about debuts, and I want to move on to like underrated or more low key tickets. I know you take more of an investment standpoint sometimes, but is there any smaller tickets that you've picked up recently?
Yeah. So again, Ronaldo R9 is my favorite forward, as far as he was just such a magician. And it's a shame, obviously, what happened with the knee injuries, and for him to come back from those knee injuries, not one but two career-ending injuries, and to still have a wonderful career at Madrid and Milan. As far as it's just a testament to him. So have the PSV
Wow.
debut. That's from Lucas as well, right there. And then these are from
Yeah.
Stuart, the Barcelona
Yeah.
and Inter
No,
Milan debut. Trying to get the Madrid debut, but there's only like 3 of those out there, and one is on eBay with the autograph for like $10,000.
I've seen that. That's ridiculous, but it's
It-
cool.
yeah. Let's see. I'm a big Ronaldinho fan. He's also one of my top 5 players. This is the goal of the year when he was at PSG.
Oh yeah, I remember
Back
this
in
one.
2000, so in that game,
Damn,
that's where Drogba was like 25. He was so raw. He's like 25 years old, but he had 2 goals to win that game. As far as for
Seth,
Ronaldinho,
that's a cool ticket, man. I like that one.
and then the standing ovation got against Madrid.
Hmm.
As far as that's a VIP one, that's just a regular one. That was probably Ronaldinho's most memorable game as far as those 2 wonderful goals against Madrid. So, and then so Lucas sold this to a friend of mine who I bought it from, but that's the Roberto Carlos free
Yep.
kick, and then to go with that impossible goal that he had where he scored from the corner.
Yep.
Uh, so I have that paired up. I mean, what an unreal goal! Because a lot of people said, "No, he didn't mean to score that goal. He crossed that." And you never doubt Roberto Carlos. That was a shot on goal, 100%, at least in my eyes. So.
Man, that's a sick collection. That's really cool. I love it. Yeah, those goals I think are underrated. Like the Getafe goal, I'm not sure how much you paid, but that's a huge one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
enormous.
and I, where I've never gone wrong, so to speak, just in collecting is I don't mind paying tomorrow's price today. Sometimes I'll overpay if I know I'm going to hold on to it. Like that Kataf goal, I'm not trying to flip that anytime soon. As far really any of this, as far as I'm going to hold on to for hopefully 20, 25 years, and I'm sure my daughter has no interest in my ticket collection. So when I'm 75, 80, just sell it all, and then whatever money I get, give right to her so she can just live life the way she wants to, so to speak. But yes, that Kataf goal, as far as I overpaid a couple years back. And Lucas is what I like about Lucas. He'll tell me, something like I know what he paid for the Maradona ticket, and even though he told me and I knew what he paid for the ticket, he also knows that we can both value it at a true market value. But the Getafe goal, I'm sure I overpaid then. Do I feel like it's where it should be now? I do. And like I said, I'm going to hold on to that for
Obviously,
20
don't
years.
have to tell everyone, but yeah, drop me a message with how much you paid because I think it's a big ticket.
All right. Probably,
Give me a message.
I will. All right. Then,
Yeah, I love that ticket
then
so much.
another one from Lucas, again, is the Lamine Yamal. If I could show it right.
Yep. What was this? His
That's the
Barcelona
Barcelona
debut.
debut. Yeah.
Nice.
So I think it's one of 2. You got if I'm saying the name right, Fumamigo, who has the other
Yep.
one up on
Hmm.
Total Collection, or if I'm saying that correctly. So I believe the Lamine Yamal's one of 2 right now, and
Is that a
he's
pro
just
debut?
what's that?
Is that a
Yeah,
pro debut?
yeah. That's the so like and that's where it's just amazing with Lucas. I don't know how he does it as far as because I saw videos of him because just me being around kids, I love watching videos of kids who are doing wonderful things at 10 years old. And just because you're the best 10-year-old out there does not mean you're going to be the best 19-year-old out there. And just because you're the worst 10-year-old out there doesn't mean you're going to be the worst 19-year-old out there. I mean, Tim Duncan, who's a Hall of Fame basketball player, from my understanding, like he didn't pick up a basketball till like 11th grade, and like he was horrible. And then all of a sudden, 12th grade, he was decent enough, real good to get a scholarship, and then the rest is history. So, I always say give kids just a chance to grow. Let them grow at their own speed. But I could see that he was just special, Lamine Yamal. And then when he made his debut, I contacted Lucas probably like 2-3 weeks after the debut. I said, hey, if you could get this, I'm a buyer. And he came back like 2 weeks later. He's like, I got it. And I said, fantastic. He goes, it's this much. He goes, you okay with that? I said, sure, because I'm going to take a shot. And that's another thing. I'd like to, because in card collecting, sometimes you like to do prospect hunting and say, hey, this prospect's going to make it. And 9 times out of 10, they don't. But I enjoy that as well, with the soccer tickets, where I'll try and get a pro debut of a young person, and that I think can make it. And if they make it, fantastic. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah, that was actually my next question about prospecting and the gambling side of that, and like your thoughts on that, because I recently picked up the Bradley Barcola, the PSG winger, his
He,
debut.
he, he's a talent.
Yeah, and he's doing really well at the moment. I'm actually
Yeah.
watching the PSG versus Monaco game this Friday, so hope to see him there. But yeah, he's a really hot talent, and PSG are on the up at the moment. So I thought, you know what, it's probably worth a gamble. And I was messaging Alexander. I was like, you know what, this is probably worth a gamble. And he's like, "What do you mean gamble?" I don't think he understood the terminology, but
Right.
yeah, it's worth it. It's worth a shot at. Like, investing in someone young. It's exciting now. I watch PSG and I'm like, oh, I hope he does well. I hope he scores. So yeah, are you on that same side of prospecting?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as again, like Cole Palmer, I saw Cole Palmer before, he became what he was at Manchester City, and I'm not saying I'm right a lot as far as, but I was completely wrong on Cole Palmer. As far as I saw Cole Palmer, I'm like, yo, he's gifted, he's good, but I, I I didn't think he would ever be what he is already. He's
Mhm.
absolutely amazing, and does a Cole Palmer debut exist? I have no idea.
Probably, I'm not sure, but you and Pep Guardiola are in the same boots about not
Yeah,
seeing
right.
the potential.
But if it did, I would take a shot again, just because to me, like I said, can you get these rookie cards with the manufactured scarcity? Out of 5, out of 10, out of 25. It's just not the same as getting, to me, just that ticket where there's maybe 5 of, and that ticket again was in the stadium. That ticket was present during the historic moment, and it wasn't created, to sell and everything like that. And
Mhm.
tickets, I was telling a friend of mine, this is like a year ago, but because he was big a card collector, he's like, I don't get tickets. I said, so are you guys familiar with the NBA Top Shots over there?
Mhm. Yeah.
So during the pandemic, NBA Top Shots, which were these moments, for the people that don't know, moments just of players, and people would buy them, and it would be just the video. You didn't own the video per se, because obviously someone could go on YouTube and look at that same video, but you, in essence, owned the right to it, as far as, but they also had limited edition, like out of 5 or what have you. And people love collecting the moments. And same thing with Tops Now, the Tops Now cards. That's a moment. Again, people are collecting the Tops Now cards, trying to hit that, autograph or that out of 5 card. But in essence, you're collecting the moment, and that's what tickets is. It is the moment. Whether it's, because some people are like, I don't like debuts. That's not a moment. And I'm in the camp that debut is the moment. Without that moment, all these other moments don't happen. But you can still collect. Obviously, what there's so much to collect in tickets, where anybody could collect what they want and be happy. Some people like the official debuts. Some people like the friendly debut. I mean, and nobody's wrong. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's
What's
whatever
your rank?
makes you happy.
What's your ranking system then? I know you've got a lot of pro debuts, so I'm assuming that's first. But where do you rank, like, probably pro debut, friendly debut, international debut? Obviously first goals, moments like the Getafe goal or Hand of God. What's your ranking system?
That's a tough question. I mean, number one would have to be pro debut. Number two, I think, would be the international debut. The number three, it's kind of like a tie, as far as, because sometimes that moment is more important than the friendly debut. Because the thing with the friendly debut, just me, this is just me, as far as, if a person scores a goal, it means nothing. It's not recorded, it's not official. So it happened. Like Maradona's, friendly debut for Napoli was off the charts. The excitement and the craze. I mean, it was like 90,000 packed people, and just, so that's a moment for sure. But would I prefer the official debut, where they lost 3-1? He scored a goal. That's just me, because it's official. It counts.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's to each their own. Whatever makes everybody happy. Because sometimes a moment is more important than some type of debut. But
Hmm.
And that's the thing. So many Americans get confused with all the Champions League debut, the Euro debut, this and that, and so that's where they get confused sometimes.
Because I'm interested actually that you put international debut second, because a lot of Americans with their, respective players, it's not a thing that they even think about really, like a international debut or playing for their country. How come you rank it so highly in like
I
sports?
think because playing for the country means more. How can I say it? As far as because obviously it's very meaningful, but I think playing for the country means a lot more outside of America. Now, how can I express that? Just that first time they're putting on that France jersey or um, Argentina jersey is just so important. Where maybe the first time putting on that U.S. jersey is important to the player for sure, but maybe not so much to the public,
Hmm.
if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, there is something I think
And
for
then,
the
and
players.
then a lot of times you have, I apologize for cutting you off. A lot of times you have also because with America sports, a lot of times you might not have the best athletes, playing for the country. It might be, under 21s, or it might be younger people, or, the best players might not be playing, where at other times, other sports, most of the time, the best players are playing.
Hmm. For sure. No, I think international debuts in soccer are really cool, but I just know that that didn't translate in American sports.
Yeah.
So interesting to get your take on that as well. Okay, tell us about your tickets outside of soccer.
So I don't have those with me, but Bo Jackson, as far as so Bo Jackson was equivalent to Michael Jordan and maybe even above Michael Jordan for like a good 5 year period. So this is a guy who could run, who he could be on the Olympic track team for sure. He weighs like 220. And he ran a 4.1940, which if you run a four, like the record is 4.2. His wasn't an official record, but so he was extremely, extremely fast and so big and muscular to do what he did and move how he moved. It's just if you watch videos of him, he just pops off the screen, just with his athleticism, and he does things that you've never seen before and probably will never see again. So, for someone to go pro, because Deion Sanders, he was a pro football player and American football player, and then also a pro baseball player. But Bo and Dion is the greatest cornerback, in football history. His baseball career was good, not great. Where Bo, unfortunately, he got injured 5 years after his career started. Um, but and he was playing two professional sports at the same time, part time. He played his football season uh, after baseball ended. So baseball, he played the full season, and then as soon as it ended, he went right to football. And they're already like the season already started, so he's not training or anything like that. He's just going right to the NFL, putting on pads and a helmet, going into a game and running for 100 some yards, no problem. And just his style of running and just his style of playing, he's just. If anyone's not familiar with Bo Jackson, I encourage you to just try and pull up some
What
YouTube.
year was he around?
So his rookie year was 87 in both sports. So he was like 87 to like 91 in football.
Hmm.
And then so he got a big sports industry when he was injury when he was running with the ball. A person grabbed his leg and like just held onto his leg, and he tried to pull the leg, and he ended up pulling his whole hip socket out. And then he put it in all by himself on the field. And he walked off, and people thought it was just a couple week injury, turned into a couple month injury. And then he tried to play baseball, and then he realized I have to get a new hip. So he left baseball for like 2 years, got a hip replacement, and he came back, and he was still good, but he was never, what he was. But he just had an amazing. He could be the first person in the Hall of Fame of American football and Major League Baseball. He could have been. He was that amazing.
Damn. Yeah, well, you sold the story to me.
Yeah, no,
Sold the
definitely
story.
YouTube videos. Just put in Bo Jackson and sit back and relax for a good 10 minutes. As far as because here's a guy who was, he would hit like 275 and 30 home runs the same year that he's averaging over 5 yards per carry. So it's just amazing. Yeah.
An athlete. there's some examples of that in soccer as well. We've got Petr Cech, the goalkeeper for Chelsea, who went to go play ice hockey. We've got Gareth Bale, who went on to go play golf. Um,
Yes.
I'm sure
So
there's other
I wasn't
examples.
familiar with the Chelsea the goalkeeper. I was not familiar with that. He played ice hockey
Yeah, not at
for
a high level, but I think semi-professional. So I
amazing.
think someone's got a ticket for that as well.
Is
Is
that
that
right?
yeah? Have you looked at any other crossovers from sport to sport?
No, no, not really. I do respect Fav's collection on the Olympics. I do love that Olympic area. The Jesse Owens and just all the different areas with the Olympics. So I do love that. But no, as far as that'd be a nice rabbit hole to go down, I guess.
Yeah, it's an interesting one researching because it's like it shows how athletic you are and
Yeah,
how like it's a true love for sport in general if you're willing to go from one sport to another.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
that
there were a couple American athletes that were drafted in like three different sports. You just have you got a couple that were very good in two sports, but then eventually, okay, I'm going to give up one so I can focus on this, and that's where Bo was just unique and said I'm going to do both, and then Dion followed suit, and so it's just phenomenal to watch.
I think Caitlin Clark's one of those as well. I think she played professional football when she was younger, and then now she's on the big stage in the NBA. I think there's also a male footballer who was in the same situation as well.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
women's sports is so underrated, I think, too. At least here in America, women's sports is finally getting the recognition it deserves, and it is just blowing up like crazy. Whether it's soccer, whether it's basketball, participation wise or viewership wise, like teams that were not worth much are now worth multi million dollars, and leagues are continuing to grow. So women's sports is just huge right now too, as well.
Have you picked up any tickets for them or not?
No, as far as with me having a daughter, as far as I definitely will. That's something I would like. Definitely want to get the U.S. Women's World Cup one
Hmm.
with the celebration. So that's on my bucket list, I guess you could say.
And then we'll end off with that. Is there any tickets that you're after on that bucket list that you need to tick off, and maybe
Just,
someone
just,
listening
just the
can help
one
you
that,
out?
just the one that you and Shell Bynes have that Messi, which I'll never acquire as far as, but that Messi Espanol debut as far as that's the ultimate one. But Five has one to me that is so amazing, and that's the first Bundesliga's game for Gerd Muller and Franz Beckenbauer. So they were their pro debuts, I believe, was 64, I think, but they were at the level below, and he's got, I think it's a pot one ticket that he has, that he had advertised on the Discord.
Hmm.
But what amazing to have the both of them, that 1965, their first Bundesliga game, for Bayern Munich that's an amazing ticket. So if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, because you got the Super Bowl this Sunday, and it's Philadelphia Eagles versus Kansas City Chiefs. So Super Bowl, you have maybe like maybe 100 to 200 million people that view it. Where the World Cup, you have like 1.5 billion people
I think
that.
two. I think we need to get the numbers up. I think it was like 2-3 billion watching that
Okay,
World
maybe
Cup
it's more
final.
than 2 billion. So people, because in America, I'd say football, baseball, and basketball are the top three, and soccer's number four. But I think eventually, soccer will move up on that list. But like I said, when you have 2 billion people watching something compared to the number one sport in America, where 100 to 200 million people watch it, so I think it speaks a lot of volumes for what a great game it is and the growth that can take
Hmm.
place.
Well, that's at least a minimum of 10x, which is a crazy number.
Yeah,
So the amount of fans are 10 times more, but the price is 10 times less.
yeah.
So
So, and all
there's
of us wondering in the Discord, well, so why is this ticket, this American sport ticket selling for this? And why is the soccer ticket selling for so little? And I think it's just that we're in the top of the second inning, to use a baseball term. We're so early in the game, and so many of us feel like we're so late, like, oh, I missed out on this, I can't get that. And to me, I think we're so early, just soccer wise, because the appreciation just, globally is not there yet in the ticket. side of things, so to speak, but also the sports side of things. So I think just 10 years from now, I think we'll be having a whole different conversation, hopefully. But
We'll get you on in 10 years and we can repeat the same
yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
I think Fav's point on that is just the fact that there's maybe 100 years of American fans collecting. Like there's a history of collecting, whereas the European culture isn't so strong for collecting. It's not something that's ingrained into everyone. And
right,
I think that's Fav's counter, and I think it's a fair argument as well. Everyone as kids grew up collecting stickers, but like cards and the fact that they actually had value is like a very foreign concept to us.
right. Now,
So I
do
think it's gonna take
people
time.
do people collect, like, over here, as far as just sports memorabilia, whether it's jerseys or gloves, whatever it may be, as far as stuff that the player has worn? Is that big over there, or
There's a website called Match Worn Shirts, and
familiar with
after
that?
the game, all the Premier League teams give the shirts to the clubs, but PSG do it, and some other clubs do it, and there's some really big sales, like they're like 5-6 grand, and
Wow.
that's for me an interesting way to track where the money's going. But a lot of the bidders are from Belgium, China, America, and Korea. So those are the big markets. I think in the UK, there's not massive amounts of collectors for that stuff. If you've got money, I mean, going to the games is basically like takes up all your money.
Yeah,
The tickets these days are a fortune. And then there's online TV subscriptions, which are $300 a month just to watch along with the Premier League. So I don't know, maybe, and there's a terrible gambling culture over here as well. So maybe
I
people
think
lose their
that's
money in
everywhere.
that way.
I think that's everywhere. That's why I'm saying, if the Eagles win, might be going on a little ticket hunt. If they lose, I might be putting half my collection up for sale on Discord. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think so a lot of the money, but I think no, I think it's just an overall culture shift. So I think with time, like I say, over COVID, people finally were able to appreciate the assets that they had. People have kept collections of match attacks and other sports cards in the UK, and for throughout all of time, they were worth nothing, literally nothing. And finally, people are understanding that they're worth money. Pokemon increases, and people's consensus is that these things from a long time ago actually have money.
Yeah,
Rather than just going down over time, they actually go up over time, and I think that's something that will slowly become ingrained.
yeah.
You guys in America, you understand. You've had people collecting trading cards since, uh, hot in the 70s, 80s,
1950s.
90s.
Yeah,
It's it's
1950s. Yeah.
it's new for
So
us.
in America, the cards are big, as far as, and I think vintage cards, 1950, well, not 1950, really, 1800s, early 1900s, all the way to, say, 1975, 1980 will be solid, as far as. But after that, and what we're seeing now, that, because I grew up in the what we call the junk box, or
Junk
wax
wax.
box here, I should say, as far as where it was just so mass produced, and there was just, everywhere you looked, there was a card, and it just destroyed the hobby. And to me, that's what you're seeing now again. But you didn't have the manufacturer scarcity that you did back in the 90s, that you're having now. So that's one element that didn't exist, but it just feels like the product is just being pushed out way too much, and that the hobby on the card side of it didn't learn their lesson. But I think vintage cards will always be, strong. But memorabilia wise, as far as, people collected the jersey, the bats, cleats, well, whatever they could, but tickets still, weren't really recognized. So even though all these wonderful memorabilia pieces were recognized, really tickets, I'd say it's been really the last 5, 10 years that they have really now gone from afterthought to being right up there with
Hmm.
the jerseys, the game used bats, from Babe Ruth or whatever it may be. So like I said, I still think we're very early in this ticket, adventure. I really do.
Yeah, and Nat Turner, the CEO of PSA,
The
he's
CEO of Collector's Tools, right? He's going to buy you out, but go ahead.
maybe one day. No, but he is big on tickets as well now. He's seen the growth in it. I think might reflect why the price has gone up a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, but like he understands it. It clicks with him, and I think if it can resonate with him, chances are he can explain that in a very clear and coherent way to other
yeah,
people so that it makes sense. But what I love about tickets is especially over in Europe, it was actually one of the first things people collected. You know, with you guys, it was sports cards, then you transition into tickets. But if
Right.
you speak to Lucas and listen to my first podcast with him, you'll actually
Yeah,
understand that
yeah,
a lot of people collected tickets before anything else. That was
yeah,
like the number one way to capture a memory, tickets and programs.
yeah.
So sports cards is like a secondary thing. So it's
And I think
interesting to have that history.
tickets isn't just going to be isolated to sports. I mean, as you know, as far as you got Ben on all the time with the concert tickets. I mean, there's so many avenues to tickets, whether it's movies, whether it's music, so it's where it can just draw in so many people. And you might be a music fan that all of a sudden starts being interested in sports, or a sports fan that is now interested in movie tickets. Or so I mean, it's such a big. I think it's just a big growth area. Really do.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Seth, thank you so much for joining.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate your
It was a
time.
pleasure to meet you, pleasure to talk to you, and look forward to talking to you more.
Amazing. Same time in 10 years.
All right, sounds good.
I'll see you then. Take care, man. Bye
Take
bye.